Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Liang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. High gas prices are hitting everyone. While commuters are suffering from just getting gas, high diesel prices may be pushing other prices even higher. We'll have the details on what's happening. Fire season has officially begun in California. While firefighters are already working to contain existing blazes, legislators are working for ways to bring more people into the life-saving line of employment. And one of the top-performing schools in the state is getting low grades. The changes come after it turned from a merit-based system to a lottery. We'll show you what happened. Record fuel prices are hitting not just commuters, but also squeezing the trucking industry. Expensive diesel fuel is raising costs for businesses and consumers alike.
American drivers are feeling the pain at the pump as U.S. gas prices hit a record high of $4.67 per gallon on Wednesday.
It's $6.63 a gallon. I use 37 gallons and costing $251. 37 gallons. It's a lot.
The price of diesel, which fuels most trucks, are also hitting new highs, rising about 70% from a year ago.
So obviously it is squeezing the profits, and I don't see a short-term end to it. I think these elevated prices will continue. Hopefully we're getting somewhere near the peak.
Roadstar runs a fleet of about 25 trucks delivering goods in Northern California. It passes most of the increase to its customers through a fuel surcharge, but prices have risen so fast that it must absorb some of the cost.
Unfortunately for the public, when diesel prices are so elevated, we have to pass that through. There's just no other way to do it. That will ultimately be reflected in the prices that the consumer pays, and that's part of the increase in the cost of food and everything else.
Ramarino worries that the price of fuel could increase so much that his customers can no longer afford trucking services.
California counties are officially declaring the start of fire season, but wildfires have already been igniting throughout the state. Some lawmakers are proposing to increase the number of firefighters to battle the blazes.
Firefighters are fighting a bushfire that is burning in the heart of California's Napa County. Named the Old Fire, it's about 570 acres and 45% contained as of Thursday morning. Though wildfires have already struck the state this year, CAL FIRE activated local fire restrictions last week, officially marking the start of fire season.
Back in February 2020, we were able to rely on inmate labor. Inmate firefighters. We're down 4,200 inmate firefighters from a decade ago. It's time that we finally fix this shortage.
As fires burn across the state, the agency is preparing for another understaffed fire season.
It's the health and safety of the men and women on the front lines, not going home, whether they're on a fire or in a station, protecting one of our 120 cities that we are responsible or our 32 counties that we also are responsible for. All of them stuck on duty 30, 40 days plus, whether seeing devastating towns like Paradise or the Tubbs, or running medical aids and seeing death and tragedy there.
But a group of bipartisan lawmakers has a proposal to strengthen the state's firefighting capacity.
We're proposing to hire 356 new full-time firefighters to get full staffing on its fire engines. Now, the United States Forest Service, they have 3 people on their engines. Most local municipal departments, they have 3 firefighters on their engines. CAL FIRE, 2.7.
Senate Bill 1062 also proposes adding over 1,100 firefighters in the long term.
CAL FIRE only achieves 3 people per engine when forced overtime is implemented. 3 firefighters on an engine would become a new mandated minimum in the state of California with this bipartisan legislation.
The bill is also mandating 16 additional hand crews that will be 48 firefighters strong.
And down in San Diego, our firefighters are either traveling across the state to go help other firefighters, or firefighters are traveling all the way down to San Diego to help us. This measure at Senate Bill 1062 will help save the lives of the men and women who help save our lives.
Lawmakers said the biggest reason for pushing this bill is health and safety concerns. According to the U.S. Fire Administration, 2022 has already seen 5 on-duty firefighter fatalities and 48 civilian fire fatalities. SB 1062 still needs to pass both the Senate and Assembly before Governor Gavin Newsom can sign it into law.
Lowell High School, ranked one of the highest performing public schools in California, has reported a spike in failing grades. This comes after replacing its academics-based admission system with a lottery for the 2021 and 2022 school year.
According to records obtained by the San Francisco Chronicle, first-year students admitted to Lowell High in fall 2021 through the lottery received 3 times the numbers of D's and F's compared to students admitted in 2019 and 2020 through the merit-based system. The school's principal told the SF Chronicle that remote learning could have caused the jump in failing grades for the incoming freshman class. But upperclassmen at the school did not experience the same drop. Lowell High School has long had a reputation for academic excellence. It has consistently been ranked number 1 in the Western region for the quantity of advanced placement exams given.
What makes these schools outstanding is the students that they accept.
Alina Adams, education writer and school admission expert who graduated from Lowell herself, says grade-based admission ensures the students who are admitted are already working at a certain level and know the material.
If you take students by lottery, then kids are coming in who don't already know the material, who are not prepared to learn higher level material, and as a result, of course they're going to fail because no amount of magic thinking, no amount of sitting students next to other students who know the material is going to change that.
Lowell used to be one of the only schools in the San Francisco Unified School District where admissions were determined by a student's grades and admission test scores. In October 2020, the San Francisco Board of Education voted to enact a lottery-based admission process at Lowell for the 2021-22 school year. The change came due to a shift to pass-fail grades during COVID-19 lockdowns. Over a year later, in December 2021, the Board of Education voted to extend the school's lottery-based admission for the 2022-23 school year. Then, in February 2022, San Francisco voters recalled 3 Board of Education members. Recall organizers said they wanted to remove all of the board members, but rules didn't permit it.
The mayoral election in one Orange County city has become controversial. A lawyer and author explains why a measure that would give a mayor more power could be a problem, along with a very recent and very nearby precedent.
Walter Starr, a lawyer and author, explained controversy around the upcoming Newport Beach mayoral election to California Insider's Siamak Korami. It revolves around Measure B, which would allow for a direct election of the mayor.
One of the sort of bits of the fine print of this measure, which is unusual, is to give the mayor essentially complete control of the agenda. At the moment, the agenda in Newport Beach is developed by the city manager. That's the system in most cities. If this measure passes, Newport Beach would be the only city in Orange County where the mayor is the primary author of the agenda each week for the city council.
Measure B would lengthen the term of the mayor from a year to at least 4 years and change the powers of the mayor. Currently, the city council of 7 selects its mayor.
So for me, that collegiality, being governed by 7 people rather than being governed by 1 people, is a key feature of the current system.
Starr is among those who are against Measure B because they worry there could potentially be corruption. One recent example of mayoral corruption he referred to is former Mayor Harry Sidhu from the neighboring city of Anaheim. He was accused of sharing confidential information to the Angels baseball team during stadium sale negotiations to receive campaign contributions for his re-election.
If Measure B passes, I fear that the same outside money will elect a friendly mayor and will then perhaps get through proposals which otherwise wouldn't get through.
Starr hopes people would read into each agenda when they vote.
A judge overturned the city council seat election after ruling some votes were cast from people using fake addresses. The now overturned winner of the race was already facing election fraud charges. NTD's Jason Blair brings us the details.
A council seat election in the city of Compton has been overturned after a judge ruled last month that 4 votes were cast by people who didn't live in the district. In the original count, Compton Councilman Isaac Galvin was declared winner over Andre Spicer by only 1 vote in June of 2021. But now Galvin must be replaced by Spicer after the judge's ruling. Last year, Galvin had already been arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit election fraud and 1 count of bribery related to the same election. After the judge's decision on May 27th, Spicer told NBC that he was elated, and I'm grateful to the judicial system. This has been something we've been fighting hard for the last 11 months. Spicer was sworn in at Compton City Hall on Tuesday. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. A sheriff's department is using virtual stage for deputy training. A reporter went and saw for himself what the officers are learning. The city of LA made a change to one of its ordinances regarding homelessness. Now people will not be allowed to camp 500 feet from schools. And a mountain lion found its way into a school in Oakland. We'll have how the cub was rescued and what's being done to take care of it. That and more on California Today. White County in Northern California is virtually taking a new step to training law enforcement. Just a warning, the story contains simulated gunfire and a very angry civilian. NTD's David Lamb gets an inside look at the new program.
We're at a new training facility in San Mateo County, and the Sheriff's Department is unveiling a new training system that's entirely done through a virtual simulation.
Release the slide forward, and now this is ready to use in our simulator.
The scenarios start by locking in the non-firing weapons. Here, it's an assault rifle and pistol.
Right side, right. Suspect. You got a shot? Drop the weapon. Drop the weapon with me.
This has been in the works for several months, and just last week we finally were able to get it up. The folks from Virtua came in here, installed it for us, and walked us through how to use it, how to train the deputies and officers who will be using it.
Law enforcement demonstrated how the Virtua 300 series simulator works on Thursday morning. The sheriff's office said they're always looking for the best practices, training, and technology to achieve public safety.
In 2021, there were 61 active shooter incidents, an increase of over 50% from the previous year, and nearly a 97% increase from 2017.
The sheriff hopes the training will provide extra training to law enforcement, especially with the recent mass shootings.
My personnel are trained to immediately go in, as I said earlier, and neutralize that threat. I can't in good conscience allow them to do that without making sure they have the best training and the best equipment possible.
This system consists of 5 screens that surround the trainees in 300 degrees. He says they are the first law enforcement to use this technology in California.
And it will be available to all San Mateo County law enforcement agencies, as well as those state and federal agencies that wish to use it.
Bolano says the system costs $60,000 a year to lease. He hopes to utilize the system about 3 to 4 times each year.
Where is he? Where is he? Where's the shooter? Watch around.
The system includes hundreds of scenarios from active shooter, de-escalation, non-escalation, and compassion skills. Those situations will be updated once a year.
No, sir. You're right. You know who I am? You better back off.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll give you plenty of space, sir. We're just trying to learn a little bit more about...
You know who I am? That's who I am! You don't know who I am, do ya?
Hey, no worries. What's your name? What's your name?
It's all right. You seem to know what you're doing. You seem to know more than most. You're okay. Keep up the good work.
NTD paired up with another journalist in an escalating scenario regarding a man speaking to himself.
All right, take it easy. You don't shoot. Just take it easy. I'm complying.
We're not going to hurt you. All right, yeah. Were we supposed to arrest him? I wasn't sure.
There's variety and flexibility to the scenarios, with operators monitoring the system. The outcomes vary depending on the course of actions from the trainees. But a sergeant says he doesn't think the tech would be able to replace real-life training.
However, there are a lot of circumstances where we can't, for example, take over a mall for a day and introduce all these different kinds of stimulus, people running around. It just would be, frankly, it's unrealistic to do. It's also unsafe. So it will never take over any live training, but it's a great complement to it.
Each simulation can run anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, testing officers' reflexes and decision-making skills. The goal is to get everyone in the sheriff's office trained. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
The mayor of San Francisco announced that she plans to end trans homelessness by 2027. But one author says it's discriminating and keeps homeless people on the streets.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed is proposing a 2-year, $6.5 million budget to end homelessness for transgender San Franciscans in 5 years. The investment would include housing subsidies, behavioral health and social services, and a permanent supportive housing site for trans and LGBTQ youth. In a statement, Breed said the city will ensure all San Franciscans have access to housing and essential resources through continued investments and be a leader in supporting trans communities. But not everyone thinks it's a good idea. Michael Schellenberger, author of San Francisco and gubernatorial candidate, says the plan would discriminate against non-trans people and keep homeless on the streets.
So she's assuming that people are going to stay on the street for another 5 years. This is outrageous.
Schellenberger says as governor, he will require people to sleep inside.
It's one thing to have a mountain lion as a school mascot, but to have a mountain lion visit a school is completely different, especially when it's an unwelcome visit. That's just what happened in the Bay Area. Fortunately, rescuers from the Oakland Zoo transported the big cat out safely.
The Oakland Zoo received a rescued mountain lion on June 1st. The young male, about 6 to 8 months old, was discovered at Pescadero High School in the town of Pescadero on Wednesday morning. It was found hiding under a teacher's desk in a classroom. According to the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office, all students and staff are safe and unharmed.
A lot of San Mateo County is very rural, so there is active wildlife. I would just, impress upon the community to be mindful of it, and if you see it, stay away from it and give us a call, and we'll come out and do everything we can to make the scene safe.
The cub was sedated, then transported to a veterinary hospital. According to the Oakland Zoo, he has a badly fractured tooth that will need to be extracted. They said he is too young to survive on its own in the wild, so he will live at an accredited zoo. Until then, the Oakland Zoo will take care of him.
This may come as a surprise to some, but according to a new study, thanking your coworkers reduces their stress. Researchers monitored the heart-related stress of people before they were given a near impossible task, and how a simple thank you seemed to make all the difference.
According to a study from UC San Diego's Rady School of Management, thanking teammates reduces their stress. Their research found that teammates who thanked each other before taking on high-stress tasks showed better heart rate-related stress responses than other groups who didn't. The study's results were taken from an experiment with 200 participants. Individuals were paired in teams in loose-tie relationships like coworkers. Each pair was given an essentially impossible task. The results showed that a simple expression of gratitude effectively eliminated the threat response. It also led to increased concentration and more confidence, which in turn can allow individuals to give their peak performance. Christopher Ovius, the senior author of the study and associate professor of economics, emphasized how it influences work performance. He said gratitude expressions may not only be key to managing daily stress, but also turn stress into a productive tool. He added that expressing gratitude is also a fundamental part of strengthening work relationships.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup.
A bad day for California teams, but a good day for California rivalries. In all likelihood, your team lost yesterday, but so did their rival team. So, all losses, but a win-win. Brian Reynolds and Rodolfo Castro hit a 2-run homer to pace Pittsburgh to a win in a 3-game sweep at Los Angeles. It was the Pirates' first series sweep at Dodger Stadium since September 2000. Castro added a 2-run single, and Josh Van Meter and Michael Chavis each had an RBI single for the Pirates. Chase DeYoung gave up a hit and a walk in 1 1/3 scoreless relief innings for the win. Mookie Betts homered and Chris Taylor hit an RBI single for the Dodgers. Mitch White allowed 3 runs on 4 hits in 5 innings. Pirates 8, Dodgers 4. Nolan Arenado hit a 2-run homer and an RBI single to power St. Louis past visiting San Diego to complete a 3-game sweep. Arenado finished with 3 hits, while Brendan Donovan added a pair of singles as the Cardinals won for the 9th time in 12 games. The Padres saw their offensive woes continue, as they have just 19 runs in their past 8 contests and have lost 6 times in that span. Yu Darvish allowed 5 runs on 7 hits in 7 2/3 innings. Cardinals 5, Padres 2. Nick Matone homered, singled, and drove in 3 runs, and Kyle Schwarber homered, singled, and knocked in 2 runs as Philadelphia rallied past San Francisco to snap a 5-game losing streak. Phillies starter Aaron Nola gave up 5 hits and 5 runs in 6 innings. Nola struck out 5 and walked none. Wilmer Flores hit a 3-run home run, and Tommy La Stella added 2 hits and an RBI for the Giants, who had a 3-game winning streak snapped. Phillies 6, Giants 5. Yordan Alvarez cleared the bases with a go-ahead double in a 4-run 9th inning, and Houston completed a series sweep of Oakland. Astros starter Justin Verlander took a no-hitter into the 7th inning before Elvis Andrus doubled with 2 outs. Verlander ended up allowing 3 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks, with 6 strikeouts in 7 innings. Brian Abreu pitched a scoreless 8th for the win, and Ryan Presley earned his 10th save despite giving up a run in the 9th. The Astros have won 4 in a row, while the A's have lost 6 of their past 10. Astros 5, Athletics 4. The NBA Finals tips off today, and the Warriors finally have Gary Payton II back on the hardwood. He missed all of the Warriors' last series against the Dallas Mavericks with an elbow fracture. Payton only needed a month to come back from a scary injury in Game 2 of the Warriors' second-round matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. Then, guard Dillon Brooks injured Payton by dangerously sweeping his legs out from under him when Payton was airborne. With him back in the rotation alongside the returning Otto Porter Jr. and Andre Iguodala, the Warriors and Celtics should both be at full strength tonight. Hopefully, it stays that way for the whole finals.
And that's all for sports.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.